right, so let's go.
Great. So now we are recording, and it's allowing me to go on Facebook Live. And I will go into our big group, and then from there we can post the recording to the other groups. So let me just make sure that works. Share in a group.
Same link you sent below before?
That should be the link for everyone, but I'll record it, Ed. Oh, you know what you can do? You can actually just, can you share?
We'll try.
Let's make sure we're live. If you guys can see us live, the link for everyone, but I'll record it, Ed. You know what you can do? You can actually just, can you share? Hang on. Hang on, guys. Okay, so I think we should be live in the group. Robin says she sees us live. Thank you so much. Thanks, everyone. So if you guys can see us, just give some hearts or give some shouts. If you hosts have Facebook on in the background, you might want to shut it off because we're going to hear some kickback. And the call is recorded, so as soon as it's done, you can post it in your groups. Okay, so we're live. Sorry, that took a couple minutes. We're live in New Life, New Me, Ed.
Yeah, well, there's two of me on the screen. I don't know how that happened.
Oh, well, leave it. Don't touch any buttons.
Ellen kicked me off. Now she duplicated me. Way to go.
At this point, please do not hit any buttons. So welcome, guys, to the call. We are super duper excited. I want to introduce Ed Goldin, Ellen Brentzel, and Victoria Brunetti. We had the incredible honor of earning a trip to the Influencer Summit. And that was 3-star executives and above. And we essentially earned a trip to learn from Eric Worre. And for those of you that don't know Eric Worre, he's a brilliant trainer, speaker, author of the book Go Pro. And we had the incredible honor of being in a room with 300 top Isagenix leaders. And it was really, really groundbreaking. So we really wanted to bring back the information to you guys because there was so much valuable stuff that we took away that we really think that it can help you, not just in your business, but really in just your day-to-day activity, whether you're a social sharer or a full-time sharer or just an Isagenix enthusiast or just someone who's trying to play full out and live a better life and pursue their dreams. So I'll spend a little time talking about what is an influencer, and then I'll pass it over. So the first thing that Eric Worre said is stop saying the word leader, right? Because when a new person comes in and you're like, you're a leader, she's a leader, he's a leader, it kind of is a little bit intimidating to some new people, right? Because what is a leader? When I started, I didn't feel like a leader. I was just drinking shakes, telling people about it. What he said is that you want to create influencers. And what is an influencer is this. It is someone who is independent. It is someone who is great at solving problems. And it is someone who creates action without ever being pushed or asked or told to do so. So he went around the room, and I thought this was very pivotal. He basically went around the room and asked, who here is a 7-figure yearly earner? And Jay Bennett raised his hand, and Susan Sly and Hayden Vavra. Maybe you guys have heard some of these successful Isagenix people. And he asked each of them, how many influencers do you have on your team? And the average number was 20. And I was blown away because he didn't say you have to enroll 600. He didn't say you have to build a network of 5,000 people. 20 influencers on your team will create you a 7-figure yearly income. Does that excite you guys? Does that seem easy and doable? If you can relate, if you can see us, if you're enjoying this, just give some comments below so we know that you guys are out there, because it's a little funny with this Facebook Live. He basically said that recruiting is basically the gateway to finding and developing and bringing in these influencers. Thank you, Christy, for your feedback. He said, you want to be building like multiplication, not addition and subtraction. And I thought this was pivotal because a lot of us bring somebody in and you're like, cha-ching, but it's not really like that. When you bring someone in, that's when the job just begins, right? That's when we have to really invest in someone. That's when you have to, and Ed's going to talk about this, and I'm excited to hear about this, but so many of us have limiting beliefs and self-doubts. And I want to ask you guys, and you can comment in the Facebook group or you can comment in the chat below, how many of you guys think that you've been playing small? How many of you guys feel like you really haven't been giving it your all? Yeah. And what he told me is the world is not served by that. The world is not served by you playing small. By you not playing big, by you not playing full out, you are keeping hundreds of thousands of people away from experiencing the best thing, right? When you don't play full out, it's impacting thousands. If Ellen didn't play full out and didn't have the courage to share, look at all the thousands of people that wouldn't be here. Vicky, Ed, you've got to think of the bigger impact that you're having when you don't play full out. He said, the best part of our business is that you cannot win without lifting and helping other people. And I love that because when you bring someone in, it is your job to push them, elevate them, help them grow their belief. You've got to figure out your greater purpose because you know what? A new Chanel bag or a new makeup set, that's not the kind of shit that's going to get you out of bed. You've got to find a bigger purpose that's going to push you and motivate you to really put yourself out there and live the best life possible. I see Emily Vavra now in Uganda, you know, doing volunteer work for children who don't have clean water. There's a bigger, greater purpose here. So I want to ask you guys this question. And I want you to write it down. And I want you to write it down on an index card or a notebook right now. And this will be a great question for you to bring back to your team and ask them. I would be more successful in my isogenics business if. Answer that question. You can answer it in the chat. You can answer it privately, but write out the answer. I would be more successful in my isogenics business if. Right? For me, it's a lot of things. If I got over that financial hump, if I worked closer with my team, if I was more disciplined, if I stopped making excuses, a lot of things, right? We all have our things. Write them down. And now number 2, what I want you to write down. What has to change? What has to change for you to make that happen? Because honestly, you know, Vicky can give you all the pep talks. Ed can give you all the push, the Monday motivation. But unless you decide what's got to change for you, you're not going to do this. And I mean, we had millionaires in the room making a list like this of what has to change. So there's nothing to be embarrassed of or ashamed of. He said that your business will have to be built and rebuilt 40 times over. People are going to come. People are going to go. You just keep going. Don't beat yourself up about it. Just keep thinking bigger. We sell quality products and services using word of mouth referral. People will always prefer the recommendation of a friend than they do off Google or Yelp. And then he asked us, and I want you guys to write this down. You can put it in the chat or on a piece of paper. This is big. I started sweating when he challenged us to do this. What do you want to earn with isogenics? What is your dream number? And we all had our dream number, and we all put 500K, 400K, some brave hearts put 1 million. And then he said, now I want you to double it. And I started sweating because that number didn't even come into my radar. But that's what you've got to do if you've got to think bigger. He said the amount of money that you want to make will directly correlate to the amount of people that you're going to get to an event. So Christy was brave enough to say that she wants to make 180K. That's 180K is just getting 180 people to an event, right? He said for every $1,000 for every person that you bring to an event, you will earn $1,000. Move faster, be stronger, be willing to publicly fail and handle it. Confidence is going to come, but confidence won't come unless you make the mistakes. Let go of fear and judgment and opinions of others. Let go of wanting respect from people who don't deserve it. Stop being a people pleaser and go after what's in your heart. Eventually, the critics will be bragging about how they know you. And he gave us so many beautiful examples of that, where people who were laughed at and made fun of, they turned out to be some of the greatest visionaries in the world. Just because they don't get it doesn't mean there's something wrong with you. It's just they're not on your level. So he also talked about something very valuable, and then I'll pass it over to Ed, who's going to talk more about treating this like a business. But he talked about his whole entire life. He did plan, do, and review. And I thought this was so critical. As long as you do it, you will always grow and get better. Even if you just grow and improve something 1% that week, at the end of the year, guess what? You'll be 52% better than you were last year. How many of you guys see an improvement in yourselves in 2 months, in 6 months, in the year that you've been here? We all grow, but you've got to be willing to make those mistakes and allow yourself to grow. If you don't screw up, how in the world are you going to get better? And my favorite quote is this: it's hard to look good and get better at the same time. Handle it. He gave an example where he grew up in a Christian family, and church and church plays were very important. And finally, he got his big break where Eric Worre got to have a big lead and sing a song in the play. And he said that he forgot every single word to the song. And he said, you've always got choices. And at that moment, he had a few choices. One choice would have been to cry and run off the stage. Another one would have been to kind of fake it and make up the words to the song. He basically said, guys, Merry Christmas. I forgot every word to the song. I wish you all a Happy New Year. And he said, man, they were all coming up to me, patting me on the back, saying what you did was brave. It took courage, So you're not always going to know, but step up and handle it. I want to give a shout out to Alina. She posted a post in a Facebook group today, and some people were being awesome and supportive, and other people were like, why can't you just tell us the name of the pro? And she handled it. She handled it like a pro. Me and Amanda stepped in and took her back, but there's going to be all sorts of situations, but you're going to have to handle it. So that was one of my favorite parts. So I'm going to pass it over to Ed.
Yeah, so just to start off with, this event was amazing. Eric Worre blew my mind, and not just my mind, everyone in the room, the millionaires, 498 qualifiers were there with us, and I've been to Tony Robbins and Todd Falcone and Rod Harrison, and Eric Worre just blew my mind. I mean, he truly is the the guru of network marketing. And so for you guys out there, I share this because Isagenix will be bringing him back next year. So as soon as the qualifications are out there, make sure you put that on your list to join the Influencer Summit with Eric Worre next year. Well, a few of the things, one of the things that he said that really popped out to me is network marketing is the most forgiving profession on earth, right? Rightfully so. And if we have a job or if we go to work for someone and we get sick, right? Well, we don't go home. We fight, we work, we still keep doing the do. And network marketing, if we get sick, we take 3 to 4 days off and just chill and relax, right? But it's not right. Why do we do that? And so, one of the things that he was talking about is you have to employ yourself, So if you guys can put in the chat or however you're watching this, what rate are you currently working your isogenics business? What would you pay yourself, right? And the reason I'm asking you to put this out there is for you, not for us. So if you're working at $10 an hour, double it. You're worth more than that. Like Angel said, you're bigger. Think bigger, right? When I first started this, I was like, yeah, if I can make $200 to $300 a week, it'd be great. Angela said you could be a six-figure income earner. I said, get out of here, And it's only because I didn't believe in myself. Like I didn't feel like I deserved that because I always worked hard for someone else and never made that money. So we have to know our self-worth. And one of the ways to get there, and this is really hard, is we got to look at why we don't feel this. What's happened in our past? What's held us back? And, he talked about just apologizing to yourself. Forgive yourself for not thinking bigger. Forgive yourself for not wanting more and realizing that you deserve to be a millionaire, make $1 million a year. Why not? So I can't see, but I hope people are posting what are you worth? And guys, there's a lot of people that said they would fire themselves, right? And it's true. Think about that. Would you pay yourself to work the way you're working your isogenics business? And so one of the reasons that we do this is because we make isogenics our secondary option. Now, thank you, Christy, for that. And yourself, you're worth a lot more than $2 an hour. One of the reasons we do this is because we take isogenics as a secondary position in our life opposed to our primary, right? And we need to fix that, right? Because this will pay, this will give you the time freedom, this will do anything that you want in your life over anything you're doing now. And it's proven. Today we announced our 251st millionaire, right? 251 in 15 years. When I started, in 2014, they announced the 100th millionaire. Today we have 251. Next year it'll probably be 300, way past 300. So some of the things to get over that secondary and treat this as your primary business. And like it did for me, when I started this, I had my own business. I had another business, and my other business went down and isogenics went up. And it's because I started making it primary, not because of the money, but because I liked enjoying watching people transform. The gratitude was great. I looked at the compensation plan, and it was easy. If people are doing it, if Angela's doing it, and everyone else is doing it, why not me? It was that simple. So a couple of things that he mentioned, keys to building confidence, right? And this will help you, one, think bigger and get over that secondary into that primary position. Study, know what you're doing. And I know telling your story is big, and Alan's going to go over this. It's really great information, so make sure you listen to that. Model people, model successful people. You have Angela, Ellen, Vicky, Kelly Winchell and Elizabeth Goldin. I see them working together, modeling each other, and it's working for them. So model someone that you resonate with, that you connect with. You can, Eric gave us permission, copy what they're doing. It's okay. You don't have to come up with your own stuff. Practice, right? Practice your 30-second story. Practice on videos. Record yourself. Make, well, he said audio tapes. I don't even know if those exist anymore. But, record yourself into your phone. Practice. Performance. Ask for feedback. Ask any of us. We're all here to help you. Ask your spouse. Ask your kids. Whatever it is, ask. Have compassion, right, when you're talking to people. Remember, we're here to help them, right? Always find out where they struggle, what they need. If you can relate with their struggles, let them know that. That's what people want. and your vision, right, guys? If you have a big vision, if you grow in your vision, if you think bigger, if you grow faster, you can share that with people, right? And it doesn't interest anyone to make $200 a week, right? When you tell them 2,000 a week, think what that can do to someone. So those are some of the keys to success, and I'll post those. I'll put my notes up, and it's just write down the things the goals, right? Have a calendar, set your goals, and work for them. When they announced Billionaire and Beyond, and Ellen was in NYKO, they made you take your current salary and I think multiply it times 100 or some outrageous number. We were all sitting there, looking at the stage like, that's impossible. It's never going to happen. And then Jimmy Smith, who's 86 years old, came out on the stage. And I felt like he was pointing at me and talking to me. He simply said, most of you are sitting here thinking it's impossible. I'm sitting here calculating what I have to do, how many hours a day I have to work, how many people do I have to talk to make this happen. And just like that, my mind changed. It just changed. I was like, okay, so this is what we're going to do, and this is how we're going to do it. And that year I made billion and beyond. So guys, the mindset is so important. Write it down, and make this your primary, and really take it to the next level.
Ed, do you remember how many hands went up in the room when he said, how many of you guys have taken a day off your real job? And everyone was like, and then he said, well, how many of you have taken days off Isogenics? And everyone looked embarrassed. And he said that all of us are conditioned like employees, like workers. But what we forget is that this is your own business, right? And I think a big thing that separates you from many other on the team is that you've treated this like a business. And no matter how busy you were, I remember you doing this with an infant in your arms, but every day you treated it like you were the boss and this was your business. And I remember that when we were talking, and what something that Eric Worre really pushed on, he said that those network marketing hours are sacred. 15-minute blocks, 15-minute chunks. I remember you would put the baby to sleep and you'd say, I'll do a 3-way with you while Melania is napping. I mean, guys, you don't have to work 8 hours a day for Isogenics. If you have free between 11 and 1 while the baby is napping, commit to those hours every day. He said, use punishment and reward. So he said, do you remember the website?
Yes, Stick. Is that it? STICCK.com. Yeah, and I'm going on there also because what it is basically he did it like this. He picked someone from the audience, asked what organization she hates the most. She couldn't come up with one, so he asked for someone that she really hates. So she named the girl Renee or something.
Her ex-boyfriend.
Her ex-boyfriend. So she went into Stick, and they did this together, and donated $5,000 to Renee, right? If she doesn't hit her goals, Renee gets $5,000. So, again, you guys, you can put in $10, you can put in whatever you want. I think the max is $5,000. But I promise you, Renee is not getting that money, and she will hit her goal. Because that's a really great way to challenge yourself. And that's a great example about challenging yourself. We got to do it, right? We're employing ourselves, so how much are you going to pay yourself? Because guys, in New York, minimum wage is $15, right? And some of you are saying $5, $10 an hour. Think of who's making that money and what are you worth to pay yourself, an hourly rate.
So if I may ask you all to please write down, what will your hours be? Just write this question down. What will my hours be? What will I do during those hours? That's number 2. And number 3, set your priorities and only do income producing activity. And he gave us some things that were income producing activity. And that is 3 important things. 3 major things that you should be doing in your business. Everything else is just BS. Number 1, recruit, prospect and recruit. Number 2, train your team how to prospect and recruit. And number 3, get your people to events. Anything else, friends, that is not income producing activity. Scrolling through Facebook, all this other stuff. So really keep the main thing the main thing. And you don't need 4 consecutive hours. 15-minute bursts. He said that's how people do the best. Awesome. So Ed, you want to pass it over to our next guest?
Yeah, so, Ellen, this was, I think you got a great takeaway. We had fun on this, and you're going to share. One of the biggest things he talked about is campaigns, and I think that really blew my mind away about how he built businesses. He makes campaigns for the next 13 to 18 months, holidays and Super Bowls and Valentine's Day. So I was going to share some examples of that with us.
Hi, guys. So before I get into campaigns, because I know Vicky's going to do the second half of that, I want to talk about, he was talking about how to tell your story. And we learned this a lot at Isagenix events, but I feel like it was just different and it was a different format. It was so good. And I really feel like, so he had us create this story, and I'll go over the building blocks for it in a second, but we had to pick a partner that we didn't know and share it with them, right? And then the second time around, he made you get even deeper and use like a little bit different of words and just go further. And literally everyone who shared their story the second time was practically in tears because it just hit such good points. And if we can share that compassion with, people outside of our business, like it's a game changer. So what he was doing was there was 4 steps to it. So the first step was your background prior to network marketing. Second part is what you didn't like about it, right? So it goes a little bit negative. So what you did not like about it. Third step was I found a solution, which would have been Isagenix, right? Step 4 is how you feel about the future. So for example, my story was before network marketing, I was a dental hygienist. And what I didn't like about it was that it destroyed my body, right? I was in pain every single day of my life. I never got appreciated. No one ever told me thank you, not one single patient. And I really bent over backwards to make sure that I did such a good job. I tried to teach them about their health. Nobody ever said thank you. And it also killed me to think about having my child in daycare every single day and have someone else raise her. I found a solution in Isagenix, and how I feel about the future is that I'm never going to have to miss a moment of Sailor's life. I can work from home, and I get thanked every single day. I wake up to a text message with people's weight loss results, energy results, thanking God that I said yes and presented this opportunity to them. How good is that, right? And people really connect. Like when you hear other people share their story, they connect so hard with you on that pain point. They'll do anything after that. Like it was just such a good way to share your story and just so different. So that was a huge takeaway for me. And also, I was talking to Tammy about this today, and she's like, well, I'm still a teacher. Like I didn't retire. Like I'm, but you can still relate it to that. Teaching, she's, obviously a teacher. I am a teacher. And what I don't like about it is I don't get appreciated like I should financially. She can go into those points, how she gets pains in her stomach from stress. And Isagenix was her solution. So it doesn't have to be necessarily that you guys retired from your job to relate to my story, but I just thought that was a really good takeaway. So going into campaigns, let me flip to my notes real quick. So these campaigns that he was talking about, he came up with he mentioned a lot of really good ideas. Some of them I never even thought of before. I don't know how. But a lot of things were pretty new for me. But what he suggested was take a 13-month calendar and plan these campaigns. You don't want to just plan the campaigns when you're at a low point in your business, right? You don't want to do it out of desperation. You want to plan ahead of time, and you want to plan it around the holidays. right? Or like any special events. So like around Super Bowl, Valentine's Day, tax time, summer prep, school's out, 4th of July, back to school, Black Friday, Thanksgiving, Christmas, like all of those good things, it sets it up perfectly for you. And he compared it to when you set it up around these certain events, he compared it to like dangling a toy in front of a little baby, right? People just get so excited around these times. It's like, oh, yes. You know, they get excited for different, you know, promotions and promotional things and stuff like that. So creating a calendar, and I know we're all going to work together and create campaigns within our team and pick our favorite ones and kind of piece things together. But going into a couple of the campaigns that I really took away, and then I'll let Vicki finish them up. So Ed and I were talking. I sat next to Ed and Vicki. Angela got her awesome seat in the front because she qualified tier 3. So us three were talking in the back. And one thing that we really, really liked was it's called a tool campaign, right? So you pick a product or not a tool campaign, like a product campaign. So you pick a product, say it's eShots, and you do one day where you plan out the week before, you order all your eShots, right? You plan one day where you take your 10 eShots, put a label on it with your name, your contact information, and your job is to pass out 10 eShots that day. Like, do not go home until you pass out those 10 eShots. But it's not just passing them out. You have to get their information in exchange. So picking a day for eShots one month, maybe the next month do like isoline bars or shakes or whatever we decide, collectively. But I thought that was a really good point. And he recommended it doing like one time a month. There was another one, like a Facebook campaign. I talked to Christy about this. She actually did it. It's a live for 5. So you have to go live on Facebook for 5 minutes and your whole team collectively picks a day. And you just kind of share your experience, talk about the program, talk about you, just go live, show people your authentic self. Prospecting by occupation, I thought this one was really good. And I feel like this is something we've done it in Blitz, but not like as specific. So say like 1 week, we're going to select the occupation of dental hygienist, right? Everyone try really, really hard and don't stop until you recruit at least one dental hygienist, right? So it's really addressing that one profession. And it really just opens your mind. We always say make a list, but a lot of times think about how many names are missed. But when you have that one specific profession, okay, nurses, your brain's going to start thinking of all the nurses you know. You'll scroll through Facebook. You'll see, different names pop up that you never even thought of before. So that was a good tip. And then let me see what else. Oh, the networking group. So even though you guys have talked about this often, I still have yet to do it. I know Heather Lynch has done it. Angela's done it. Some other people on the team have done it, but everybody on your entire team pick like a B&I group. So everybody collectively, you pick 1 week. Okay, we're going to sit down, button chair, find a local B&I and go to a meeting, right? So that's one other campaign. I don't want to take all of Vicki's. I think there was one more that I really liked. Oh, there was one more. So the one new contact a day. So you always hear everyone say share your story 3 times a day, right? This is so good. It takes kind of the pressure off. So 3 doesn't really sound like that much, right? But when you're a stay-at-home mom and the day gets away from you and it's 5 o'clock at night and you're like, I still haven't gotten my 3 contacts, you can always push for 1. So it set a standard of just doing 1 new contact a day. That is almost impossible to not do, right? 1 new contact. And that's better than most of us do, because when we have 3 on our mind, if we don't get, we may not even try for 1. So setting just the goal a little bit lower, I guess. Angela doesn't like low goals, but in my mind, 1 prospect a day, I can absolutely, that's 100% attainable, even if I don't, step foot out of the house. I can make it to the grocery store and talk to 1 person. So those are the campaigns that I liked the most. And he gave us literally like 50 campaigns. So I'm going to let Vicki go over her favorite ones and the rest that she wants to share.
Thank you, Ellen.
You're welcome.
Yes, just to some things we might have already said, but it really was, honestly, I mean, I've been to 3 celebrations, 2 or 3 NYKOs, ICU. I've been to Top Achievers with Angela and Ed in Maui, and I thought that was one of the best trainings I've ever been to as well. But I have to say, hands down, what I learned, I really wish all of you were there with us, honestly, because it wasn't so much isogenics, it was network marketing. And he's just so real, and I was absolutely blown away, and I already see the difference. I mean, I think the camaraderie with my team and downline and the teams and just getting them back into action. And I don't know, I just felt like so much stuff that he said that just really was like, oh, all right, like that struck a chord. That struck a chord. But me and Ellen loved the idea with the campaigns, because I feel like we have so many great ideas, but sometimes we're just running around and like we don't know what to do. This way, if we all sit down and like figure this out, I mean, those are my favorite. I love the sample. Pick a day. He's like, it'd be perfect. Everybody's tired around the holidays. Like Ellen said, let's do e-shots December 19th, right? So everybody's got time to order a box of 12 e-shots. And you go give those out. And you talk to those people. That will force you. If you guys want, I don't know if Angela, I think she might have posted a lot of these in the groups, but I will. There's a list of like 20 different ones. I mean, also even like, there's a home, convert your home into your campaign, right? So you challenge your whole team to turn your entire house into isogenics, like literally everything. So like where there was a tissue box, you want to put a box of delights. Like where there was, I don't know, maybe a juice, you put antihydrate. You turn your entire house into that. Flying events, start talking about, you know, I'm pretty sure, Ange, they open up corporate for everyone, right? If you schedule it. If anybody.
We have tours every Friday.
Yeah.
Jay Bennett gets a group of 20 prospects. He brings them in there. He lets Kathy Coover do the opportunity. And Eric said, did they sign up? And what was pivotal, Jay said they didn't sign up, but the one did. The one, right? And sometimes
the one important one that he wanted signed up. Yep. So, I mean, listen, is it feasible for everybody? You know, you might have somebody on the West Coast. So maybe once every 2 months, you could say, hey, I'm going to shoot out on a Friday morning and come back on a Friday night. It's possible, right? Because when you bring them there, I know a couple of us went last year, Ange and Ed took us, and it helps to see. I know for my husband, it helped to see the building and what we're about. And just seeing what, you know, everything's going on at corporate really does make a big difference. So that was another campaign. I think pretty much Ellen touched on all the most important ones and ones that we could definitely do. I think we should get into a plan of action immediately and schedule. Maybe me and Ellen could do the schedule for what month is going to be what product. I think, is that a good idea? Yeah.
I wanted to invite everyone who is an influencer, everyone who has enrolled minimum 10 people, and everyone who is at least director to a meeting the last Thursday of the month and give their ideas. So on the last Thursday of the month, we can all together as a group plan a campaign for that month. So I believe it's going to be the 28th. Thursday the 28th. So if you feel like an influencer, because we want to honor the people that have worked hard to enroll 10. If you've enrolled 10 people, guess what? You're a super recruiter. So if you want to get into this group of peers, of influencers, minimum director, minimum 10 enrollments, let's get you in and join us for our meeting. So every month, the last Thursday of the month, we can plan what we're doing. So what the girls were saying is that, you know, we can do like January, New Year, New You, but we can also pick a Tuesday where you give out 10 bars. And we can have fun with this. We can have contests. But I think the more people that are sharing and talking and giving their feedback, maybe somebody's great at creating flyers, we can all get behind it. And even people who maybe are not good at creating flyers or don't have the great verbiage, if it's there for you, you will use it, right? Hayden and Emily, they do the creating and they give it to their team to use. So that's it.
Yeah, and no, it's, you know what? Also, Ange, bringing it back to basics. Do you guys remember the first few blitzes? We were doing stuff like that. We had to go to a doctor's office one time. We had to go into a store one time, and we were doing it about a year ago. Do you remember the basics? So even not being in a blitz, I think something like this, like, all right, this week is Nurses Week. We're all going to try our hardest to enroll a nurse or at least talk to them. And you know what? I like this better. It narrows down the list. And he said the same thing. What Ellen was saying is that you're not just saying, okay, 100 people. No, this week we're going to go talk to teachers. We're going to talk to those teachers. Maybe the following month we'll enroll a teacher that we spoke to the month before. This way, it keeps yourself organized and you know who you're going after that week. So
Yeah.
I love the campaigns. I have the picture. I could post it in the groups. That's fine. I'm going to go into the pillars. I mean, honestly, we could be here all night, but because we just loved everything that he said. I'd kind of piggybacked a little bit off of the pillar number 1, which was employing yourself, right? So if we were treating this more like, we want to treat it like a business, but we don't want to say that word business. But we often, like Angela said about taking a sick day. We know we don't have set hours. We're doing, I know me, I'm going to the gym, I'm getting my nails done. All right, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. If this was a job and I was getting paid what I'm making, I wouldn't be able to go and take off the entire day and put 20 minutes in here or there. So that's number 1. You have to make it a priority. In primary and secondary, if you gave a little bit more, if you're working a full-time job, you put a little bit more into this, you would see a big difference. Pillar number 2. Oh, it's okay. Pillar number 2 is work from a calendar. I'm guilty of this. I'm sure Ed is guilty too. I think he said he was guilty of it. How many of us, I know Angela does, how many of us really truly work from a calendar? I mean, I have like 500 planners. I do try to put it in my phone, but I always say I got to get more organized. To-do list. He said wake up every morning, even if there's 3 things on there, even if it's personal, non-isogenics, not network marketing related. You have to have a to-do list every single day. Setting work hours. Angela's been saying this for years. Ultimately, this is what I do try doing, and I noticed, she could tell you, ever since I started setting those hours, I definitely increased effectively 100%. So maybe you don't have that much time and you just want to do from 10 to 11 in the morning and 9 to 10 at night, but you have to set those hours and make it clear. Make your network marketing hours sacred. Those are important. There's non-negotiables at that time. You're not going to answer, personal calls or anything like that, right? And be honest with yourself. Number 3, maximizing your time in 15-minute bursts. So he said this is very important, especially for people. We always hear, I work a full-time job. I hear this all the time. 15 minutes. You have 15 minutes downtime, put the 15 minutes in that. 15 minutes at lunch, 15 quality. But you're not scrolling Facebook. You're contacting your leads. You're making new prospects. Those are your 15-minute interval bursts, they're called. Then number 4 is crushing procrastination. Do it now. You want to go with speed at all times. And pillar number 5 is staying on track, setting daily goals, right? Like, okay, today I'm going to enroll somebody, or today I'm going to have a team meeting. Whatever it is, when you're all over the place. And again, I'm guilty of this. I'm guilty of a lot of these pillars. And I think that's why it struck a chord. And it's crazy. Even if my enrollments are high and I made a bunch of consultants, I'm really up here not that organized. And I think if I just follow these a lot more, I will definitely see a difference. Attack each day, even if it's one goal. Like Ellen said, maybe you're not going to talk to 3 people. Put it in your head. And ever since we heard this, I've been telling everybody, 1 person a day. You can't get to 3, 1 person a day. Put that in your mind. And I really like, okay, hold yourself accountable, right? Do you guys remember the stick.com? STICKK.com. He had someone stand up and she said she wanted to max out again, I believe, right? An Australian millionaire. And she said she needs to rebuild. She was very far away from it, but she wanted to do it by celebration. And he told her go to stick.com and put in, I think it was a lot of money, maybe 5,000. And if she doesn't hit it, she's got to donate that to the person she can't stand. So there was also another story of someone who wanted to hit a goal and he slept on the floor until he hit his goal. Make it negative. Just exactly. And I like this because we haven't heard this yet at all. You know, maybe I'm not going to eat carbs until I hit 5-star. I'll be skinny, really skinny.
It's like Lent. It's like Lent. What are you going to give up to get to it?
He said it. That's what he said, though. He said, what are you going to give up until you do what you got to do? You know, someone slept on a floor, whatever it is. Maybe you're not going to eat chocolate. Whatever you put your, maybe Angel's not going to have eat shots. That's a real punishment. But you put something in your head, and I'm going to do that. I am definitely going to do it. Put something in your head, like, all right, you know what? I'm not going to drink alcohol until I hit 3-star, or whatever it is. When you have a negative reinforcement staring you at the face, in the face, you will definitely be more likely to get those goals like through. And pretty much, I mean, that was it. Negative reinforcements, positives, and I mean, I can go on for hours about him because I absolutely loved him. I really hope we could all go back next year or there's another type of training like this because it really changed my whole mindset. Like, all I've been saying is influences. I haven't even used the word leaders or anything like that at all since then. Influences. Who do I want to influence? Who do I want to have an impact on?
Yeah, so I want to give you guys some numbers and I want to give you guys some steps, some easy steps how to create radical duplication. So the first set of numbers I'm going to give you is this. If you want to make $100,000 a year, you need to get 100 people to an event. You want to make 500,000, you get 500 people to an event. He said for everyone when you get people to an event, half of them are going to fall off and not come back. But that's okay because the half that does come back will earn double what they were making the year before. And that's all right because next year, that half won't come back. But the half that does will be making 4 times more. And that half will fall off. And the half that does come back will be making 8 times more. And I look at Jay Bennett and Jimmy Smith and Susan Sly and Lisa DeMeo. And all I keep telling myself is good or bad, just keep coming back. I want you guys to understand how pivotal these events are. Be the one that keeps coming back. No matter how hard life gets, be the one that keeps showing up. These events are everything. There's a reason why this 86-year-old man, our top income earner, keeps coming back. That's one set of numbers. Another set of numbers I want to give you is this. And this should be very reassuring for all of you because you don't have to find 1 million people. So listen to this. 70% of your customers are never going to recruit, right? They just love the products. But guess what? On a cookies and cream week, it's all beneficial, right? We love our customers. Jim Coover says we've got 84% customer retention, which is awesome for us. 20% of your team will recruit 1 to 2 people. Those are social enrollers. They're people who love the products but don't want to build a business, right? So don't cry and say that you've enrolled 10 people and only 2 want to share. You know what? Mazel tov. You're exactly where you're supposed to be. 5% are going to be salespeople and they will enroll 3 to 5. 3% are going to be sales leaders and they're going to recruit 6 to 9. And 2% are going to be super recruiters who find 10 or more people. 70% of our business comes from that 2%. Can you imagine how beneficial it is to get just 2 out of 10 to enroll 10 or more people? That's 70% of your business. Just 2%. These are not outrageous numbers. If you are in the 2% range, your business will hold, right? You'll have steady 3 to 5 cycles. If you find 3% super recruiters, you're going to be growing in double digits. And if you can help 4% of your team become super recruiters, that's 4 people out of 10. 4% of your team become super recruiters and enroll 10 or more, you're going to be in massive momentum. Is that, Ed, you know numbers better than me. I mean, did that stick out for you? Because I got chills when I heard that. I went home and I was like, oh my God, who do I have that's enrolled only 5 to 9? Because I want to push them to 10. And I want to teach them how to get their people to 10. And it's not everyone. All you need is 2 or 3. Hayden and Emily, couple leaders, couple influencers, the top people in our company. They don't have 100 super recruiters. They have 5 to 10 to 20 strong people. That's all you need. Tell me what stuck out for you with those numbers.
Yeah, well, so, if you take those numbers and simplify them at a higher level, I talked to two separate millionaires, right? One was there for 4 years, and they recruited, I think, like 500, well, like Angela, let's say 600 people. Another one has been in Isogenics for 7 or almost 8 years, right? Also a millionaire, and in 8 years has recruited less than 70 people, right? So when you take the numbers, anyone can become a millionaire, right? Do you want to do it in 8 years? Do you want to do it in 4 years? Right? That's up to you. You figure that out. But as long as you keep going, as long as you don't stop, you don't quit, you don't fail, and know that you deserve this to be a millionaire, you'll make it, right? And it's a numbers game, right? If today you're talking to 5 people and enrolling 1, guess what happens when you talk to 10 people? You enroll 2. Right? If you're enrolling 3 people and one's going consult, guess what happens when you enroll 6? You have 2 consultants. You're a manager.
Yeah. You know what else blew my mind? And I don't know if it like made you go, whoa, but did you guys hear him say that if the people on your team earn just $1, now they've got to earn it. You can't send it to them in the mail, he said, but if the people on your team earn just $1, they are 74% more likely to stay. Did you hear him say that, Ellen? Was that like totally freaking mind-blowing? My first thought was, I'm going to send everyone $1 in an envelope. He said, but you can't do it like that. They've got to earn it. But only 20% are going to remain if they don't earn anything. So you've got to really embrace productivity. Productivity is the life cycle. It's got to happen quickly. You've got to teach people how to become super recruiters and not sponsor 100, but sponsor 10 and teach their people how to sponsor 10. And what you need, increased exposures, more presentations, teaching your team how to share the stories, teaching them how to build a thick skin, because objections are merely part of it, right? Simple. The product, the company, the comp plan, and the testimonies. That's it. Keep the main thing the main thing. So I want to teach you guys my favorite thing, and this is radical duplication. Because if you've got one person on your team doing it, if you're the only superstar, there's a problem, right? Remember, this is about multiplication, not addition and subtraction. You're not working a factory line. You're producing growth. And one quote that he said that I love so much, the sales part is the job. The building the network, that's the gift. That's the beauty. The building the network. So when you wake up from a cookies and cream, you've got 5 cycles. You just made $250 for brushing your teeth and getting out of bed. That's the beauty in the residual income. So this is what I want you all to please take notes and write down. Radical duplication. Here's how it happens. We have got to get everyone to the pivotal rank of Crystal Manager. Crystal Manager is the foundation rank that gets people to stay. You've got to go above and beyond and move mountains to make this happen. This is a must. When your person enrolls 2 people, you've got to be proactive and help those 2 people find 2 people. Your person is brand new. They're looking to you for guidance. Don't help them get to consultant and back off. Stay, teach, take the 3 of them and expand. Because once you get your person to that crystal manager rank, boy, they stick. They stick. They 85% more stick. Because now you've shown them what's possible. This is more than a shake. Important number 2 to radical duplication. Get to company events. Events are non-negotiable. You want to start out small. You want to bring people to a Super Saturday, and you want to work your way bigger. You want to get them to an ISA university, a university in action, and then you've got to do everything in your power. Pay for the room, shove 4 people in a room, let one sleep in the bathtub, give $50 off tickets, whatever you can do as a leader, but you've got to get your people to events. Events set the flame. Events build belief. Events show people what's possible. I sponsored someone, and the next day she went to an event with a different company. Guess what company she decided to go with? Not mine, because she went to their event. Events build the fire, right? Go to company events, non-negotiable. And you cannot force your people or encourage your people to go unless you go there first. Because they're like kids. They're not going to do what you say. They're going to do what you do, right? Can we all agree how incredibly important it is? I know we have babies between us. We have 2, 4, 6, 7 girls, 7 daughters under the age of 12. But we go to events because this grows our business, and it grows our hearts, and it grows our family, and it's an example to our children. We'd never use them an excuse. Number 3, bring in the class of 2018 quickly. The 10 that you've enrolled, they're good, man. Get out there and recruit the next class. You want to do it quick. You want to pick a 90-day period where you say, this is it, this is the day, this is the burst, I'm going to enroll 20 and 30. And every month I start on the first of the month by YouTube, that Eric Worre video, 20 and 30 days. And I watch that video and it lights me up. And you know what? Even if I don't bring on 20, I got 7. Even if I don't bring on 20, the month before, I had 11. That video sets the pace for me. It lights me up. It's my teacher. It's my accountability partner. The next thing I will tell you is this. 12, if you enroll 20 people, 12 will do a little something. In 90 days, you'll have 8 left. By no means of your own. These are the numbers for everyone in our industry. You will have 8 left in 90 days. In 1 year, you'll have 4. And 1 out of those 4 is going to bring in 50% of your volume. So always be prospecting. 5 years later, you'll have 2 left. Guys, the consultants that I started with are not the consultants that are here with me today. A couple are left, the brave ones, Vicky and Sophia. You know, it's things change, people change, lives change. You can't depend on that one. You've got to go out there in 90-day bursts and recruit the next class. And here's how to do it. These guys said it 20 times over. Employ yourself. Treat this like a job, not like a business. Make your hours sacred. Let there be consequences if you don't show up. You don't get to spend money. You don't get to go play. You don't get to enjoy the things that you like. Figure out a way to adhere to these work schedules. Force yourself and do the things that you're good at. Sublet the things that you're not, right? If you're a master recruiter, ask one of the girls on your team to do box walkthroughs. Kathy Coover said, always work in teams, always work in pairs. Stick with the stuff that you're good at. What will your hours be? What will you do during those hours? What is your income producing activity? Vicky, Ed, these guys mentioned it. Show me your calendar and I'll show you how much money you make. If you've got 0 conversations here, and Ellen's right, if you can't commit to 3 conversations a day, promise yourself you'll do 1 a day. When you promise yourself you're going to go to the gym Monday at 6 a.m., as exhausted as you are, how good do you feel when you do it, when you show up for yourself, for your family, for your business? Your whole attitude changes. That's the way you got to show up here. If you commit to one conversation, do that one conversation, right? Don't say I'm going to do it and then you say, well, I'll do it tomorrow. Today's going to be laundry day. Make this so sacred to you. Have a to-do list. You know, I've never had a to-do list, and it's something so simple and so easy. He said, my calendar is booked 12 to 18 months out, and every day my wife Marina and I have a to-do list. What are the things that you want to accomplish? What are the calls that you have to make? What are the things that you really set out to do, and cross it out, because psychologically you feel good when you knock things off that to-do list. Main activities, train, prospect, and get to events. And you know, the best advice that we can all give is that we all started out horrendous. None of us were great at this. You have to be willing to be messy. You have to be willing to learn. You have to have clear-cut goals every day. Find an accountability partner. You know, if Ellen is your upline, shoot her a message and say, you know what, here's my goal, January 15th. I'm tired of, you know, futzing around. January 15th, I want you to hold me accountable. I'm going to be an exec. Shoot Ed a message. Shoot Vicky a message. You know, this is your business, but you're definitely not in this alone. And what he wrote on a big piece of paper, and he wrote the words, I will help you, comma, build your business. And he circled build your business, because this is your business, right? We're here to answer questions, support you, assist you in any way. But guys, succeed or fail, that's on you. You cannot blame Vicky. You cannot blame your coach because your coach sucks. There it is. We all wrote it down. You can't blame your coach for your successes, and you cannot blame your coaches for your failures. We're here to help you build your business. And I hope you can all take away from that, because from the very get-go, from the very conversation, you need to tell your person that my goal is to get you to be independent. Right? And that's the truth. I'm not here to babysit. If a leader is best served when you don't even know he's there. So any last minute thoughts or comments? Let's get one takeaway from everyone before we call it a night. I hope you guys found this helpful. I know the Facebook Live, I think, may have cut out, but we have the recording, and this was such valuable stuff. If there's a topic that you really want to go into more, you know, let us know. We're going to try to do trainings. We're going to pick a topic every week, and we'll ask our influencers to present and educate on this topic. We really want to teach you guys how to share your story, how to handle objections. Anything that you feel you need help with, please don't hesitate to ask, because we can plan an entire week of training just on that.
I have something I want to add real quick.
Please.
So I thought this part was really important, just because right now, personally, I feel like there's a lot of people around me who are feeling kind of down in the dumps with the holidays coming and stuff. I liked that he was talking about letting people know that there's going to be ups and downs, and people are going to have to know that they're going to get told no, and that, you know, things are going to go in peaks and valleys kind of thing. But it was nice because he put out some numbers. He said, let them know it's going to take time. So it takes 1 year to become competent, 3 years, consistent part-time effort to potentially become full-time. 3 years for that, right? So you see all of these anomalies, like, yeah, I left my job after a year or two, but that's not the normal, right? 5 years to make a significant full-time income. 5 years. So those of you who have been in for a couple of months and you're feeling a little down in the dumps, do not give up. I've seen Angela post this recently in the leadership group. You've planted seeds and you haven't even been here to watch them grow. You haven't been here long enough. 1 year to become competent. Like, we go to college. I went to college for 5 years to become a dental hygienist. Why would I give up after just a couple of months, right? This is something that you're building your dream, you're building your future, and you can build something really beautiful if you just put in a little bit of effort every single day. it's guaranteed that it's going to blossom into something amazing. You just have to put in a little bit of effort, and it goes so long. He said it takes 7 years to become world class. That's crazy.
How many of you guys, how many of you influencers have seen good people leave before their time because they gave up? It is the saddest thing in the world when somebody just quits. I saw a girl get to executive and she quit. This was one of my first consultants. I've seen great people with thousands and thousands of BV just give up on themselves. People who were skilled, people who were caring, people who were good. And that to me is the most painful part, that we saw more good in you than you saw in yourself. Please don't quit, no matter how frustrated you get. December might be a tough month, like Ellen said, but you know what? That's the month that other people take their foot off the gas. Not me. I step on my efforts because I'm hoping to take you from that Herbalife person. You got to work harder. You got to work smarter. But there are going to be highs and lows.
He also put something out there for like the first year, right? The first 12 months. If you can get someone to commit to you, to give you 12 months of focus, we work together. I will be here for a year. I will commit and not look at the income and stay focused for 1 year. You will be very surprised.
Yeah, I love that. I love that so much. I just got chills because it's so true. Too many people leave before their time, and it's very hurtful. And
Yeah, and I'll to piggyback off Ellen, my first year I made $6,000. That was it. The second year it was 34. So 2 years. First year 6, second year 34. My third year was multiple 6 figures. So yeah, 3 years. It's absolutely worth it. Another thing to piggyback off Ellen, and she was talking about the holidays and where we are now. Eric said all of life is just is problem solving, right? The better you are at it, the more money you get, the more money you make. Don't run from the problems. Solve them. Holidays, solve it. Talk to more people. Reach out to more people. Most of you are trying to get away from problems instead of solving them. Most people wait their whole life for someone to show up to do what they have done, right? Think about that. So 3 things he said, and I started repeating them every day. I am worthy. I am capable. I am deserving, right? I want you guys to write all that down. In a couple of weeks, we're going to be start working on our class of 2018. And, he challenged all of us to talk to 100 people in the next 30 days, right? So write it down. Here it is again. I am worthy. I am capable. I am deserving.
Yeah. And how much is a pack? How much is generally a 30-day pack?
$12 a day. You mean in total?
So what he said is, right, people have only 368, right? If a pack is $368, they've only have 368 reasons to stay. You've got to get them over the line. You've got to give them reason to want to do this. You've got to be their influencer. You've got to inspire them, because $368 is not enough. When they buy a pack, they can go either way, right? They can quit or they can stay. So you've got to lead by example. You've got to teach them how to be a super recruiter. You've got to get them started effectively. Be a good coach. People come for the products, but they stay for the culture. And that's so valuable, because the goal is to get them into activity quickly, because they don't have enough reason to stay, not in the beginning. But your friendship, the team, the event, the community, the paycheck, you've got to tip that scale and give them enough reason to want to continue this journey, right? That was so important. Move them over the line. Move mountains to move them over the line, and validate their decision from the very get-go. And what I loved is he said, set proper expectations right away. If you succeed, it's because of you. If you fail, it's because of you. Independence is the goal. And then he asked the person, is that a good goal for you? You're going to have ups. You're going to have downs. You're going to have good days and bad days. Things are going to get challenging, but I promise you it's worth it. And this is the initial conversation that he has with everyone coming in. Because if you're telling people it's going to be great, it's going to be all uphill, you're going to make a lot of money, you're setting them up for failure. And I've heard Zach and Eden, and we've got Eden coming on in 2 weeks. I've heard them train about this many a times. You know, he said, I'm going to know when you're down. Do you guys remember that? He said, can you paraphrase that, Ellen? It was something.
It was.
Do you remember that? That was so valuable.
Yep. So he said, here's how I know you will down. That you're down. You go quiet on me. How do you want me to help you when you're down? 1, leave you alone, or 2, remind you and help you get into a better cycle. Yeah. We know when people are either off the program or off their business. We know. So it's just, how do you want us to address it? Do you want us to ignore you, or, let you have your time, or help you?
Yeah, and this is a beautiful conversation that we should be having with all our consultants privately. Talk with your team and say, girl, if you don't show up to events and if you don't show up to calls, I'm going to know something is happening. When that happens, do you want me to call you up and kick you in the butt, or do you want me just to let you be? And most people are going to say, remind me of my dreams, remind me of why I committed. We need it. We need a friendly reminder, right? With weight loss, with business, with everything. That's why the people with the best bodies hire trainers. Olympians have trainers. It's nothing to be embarrassed of if you need a little push. So, Vicki, did you want to add something?
Well, I was going to say what Ed said. But yeah, and you just always want to be purposeful. You always want to have that good vibe, the good energy, because that's what really counts for any prospects or for your team, for your downline. They're looking at you for that. So you always want to be a role model and live up to the standards, whether it's dressing or going out to dinner with them. You always want to put yourself up here on that pedestal, but you also want to make it very sociable and very fun. At the end of the day, you want to have fun with this, because this is something, network marketing is something that we can have so much fun with. And sometimes we make it so serious that we take out the fun. So he said, add in that fun. But no, of course, at the end of the day, that it is a business. And also he said, to, what I like is that you make your best friends in network marketing. And in 18 months from now, when you and it's so true, ever since I got really, really serious, I really don't hang around with as many of the same people. And your team members become like your close friends, and you go away together and you bond. And he said, your whole life is going to change when you fully commit, because you're not going to stay with the same people. Even if it's family, you're growing a lot of times. And so unfortunately, sometimes people are left behind. So I love that about network marketing, is that more than anyone else, we become a lot like family. And those are your friends. We do become that fun environment. So have fun with it, guys, also.
Yep. So the last tips that he gave us before, I think we can stay on the phone for like 3 hours, but we're not going to do that to you. But what I would encourage you is to do this. Number 1, please go to contests and promotions. We're going to put it out there the minute they announce the next qualifiers trip. You guys are amazing. There's no reason why all of us shouldn't be there. There's so many of you guys that should have been there with us. And our biggest regret the entire weekend was, damn, we wish more people were here. How are we going to bring this back to them? Because if some of our influencers were there, man, what they could have taken with this information. So please get to the next influencers. I also want to mention that I bought a 10-pack to the top 50 women in network marketing. It's not just for women, Ed. But what I learned is this. Isogenics is wonderful, and you want to get to an Isogenics event, but you are a network marketing professional. You want to learn from the #1 income earner in It Works. You want to learn from the #1 income earner in Rodan and Fields. You want to learn from the best of the best. Eric Worre's wife, Marina, is hosting the top 50 women in network marketing. It's going to be in Vegas. August 13th to the 15th. I believe Kelly Winchell was the first one that got the invite. Anyone who is an executive is welcome to go. Please mark your calendars and really be open to learning from the best of the best. So what I want to just leave you with is this. Number one, get people started with the best pack. Don't be cheap, right? Because what kind of story do you want to tell? You want to tell the story that I came in with the best pack, and that's the pack I'm recommending to you. Number two, become a raving fan of the products. You cannot expect anyone to do business unless they become a raving fan first, right? It's our job to help them become a raving fan, help them try all the products, help them have a great experience. Number three, foundation rank. Get them to move to Crystal Manager. Very, very important. Number four, set expectations that we move quickly and forward. You want to set that up right away. Number five, teach people how to share the story. This is the most crucial part in your business. Teach people how to share and with ease in daily conversation without it being weird. And number six, help them get the easiest customers first. It's going to build a little confidence and belief in themselves. Number seven, you have to be registered for the convention for the next event, and he has that talk straight up from the very get-go. So I hope you guys found this helpful. Do you guys have anything else to add? It was such a wonderful event. I hope we were able to show just a tidbit of what we experienced, and I hope and pray for you all to be there at our next event. Thank you, panelists, for hosting. I thought this was so valuable, and we'll put up the recording in a few minutes because I think our live.
Sorry.
Can I take one quick picture? Sorry, before you jump off.
Look at Bessie.
1, 2. Got it. Thank you. Have a great night, everyone.
Good night.
It's always the woman in Ed.
I look like I'm a streaker. I'm wearing shorts.